Hello guys, welcome to Engineering Talks. I am Omkar, your host for today, and I am honored to have with us Dr. Pratap Nair, a veteran chemical engineer turned entrepreneur with a PhD from Rice University and BTech from IIT Bombay. Dr. Nair is the founder, president, and CEO of Ingenero, a global engineering analytics powerhouse that has pioneered digital twin-based solutions, advanced data analytics, and remote process engineering services for petrochemical, energy, and chemical process industry around the world. With the 35 years of experience spanning process simulation, software for process industries, AI, ML powered plant analytics, and international leadership roles, Dr. Nair brings unmatched depth and insights into what it takes to lead and transform in the world of process engineering and digitalization. Sir, welcome to Engineering Talks and thanks for uh, joining our Engineering Talks episode. The theme of this episode is the Engineering the Future with Dr. Pratap Nair on innovation, AI, and digital transformation of industry, and of course, your career journey and about the engineer. So, sir, my first question is from IIT Bombay, then to pharma industry, then engineer. Your journey spans continents and disciplines. What inspired you to transition from academics to pharma, then founding a tech driven process engineering company?
Thank you for having me here, Omkar. So, um, Certainly, the academics part of it was always it was my educational time, and so I did my BTech, IIT Bombay, and then got a doctorate where I did research again, principles of chemical engineering, but applied to more in the biomedical side. And then immediately after that, I ventured into the industry, started out in the software industry. So that is where I think some of the seeds were sown on some of the things we're doing at Ingenero. So I was part of a group where we developed one of the first online optimizers for the process industry. And so I was involved with the development of the optimizer and then very closely with the project. And then later on, even with the business development side of it. And so that is really where the foundation was laid. And I got very familiar with the process industry in the US and what the needs were and so on. Certainly after that, coming and working in a pharma industry was another eye opener because it was again more from the operations side. I did do a lot of the alliances and joint ventures when I was there with them. Certainly, that was helpful experience, but also running various different diverse kind of operations as part of that group, whether it's bulk drugs, formulations, even something far-reaching as agro, biotech, herbal. So there were very different kinds of businesses that I got put in charge of and ended up running. Um, so that was kind of, again, the different kinds of relevant experiences to really drive a business. And so, but the early things that I learned, what the process industry needs, is really what was the base for the thoughts for Ingenero. Uh, I saw a lot of people. There was a lot of software like simulators and all that that was being used, but I saw that the use was very, very far from what the potential was. So it really required very focused work as well as experience and expertise to really utilize that software to deliver value. And that was the base for Ingenero. And that is where we started. And that was the thinking process. That was one. Two, the idea that we could remotely sit and do that was the second, innovative idea that we kind of injected at that time in 2001. And the third one was, yes, certainly there was a lot of relevant experience and expertise available in the Indian market, so which we utilized to for clients in on the other side of the world. So those are some of the thought processes and what got Engineero going.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And building on that, what was the first turning point when you realized Ingenero could scale globally?
The real initial challenge was it was a very different idea. No one was really doing that in this field. One, remote. Two, getting a set of process engineers really sitting and separating the analytics out from the on-site area. Um, making those initial convincing people to do that initially was, I think, the biggest challenge because there was nothing to compare with. And so once we got that going, and we got the first few clients, then things kind of progressed one thing after the other, and we got into even the core engineering areas, safety area. Those things came. Being there at the right place, right time, kind of thing. But uh, getting this idea off the ground and actually making those initial sales, I think, was the key challenge. And it's always for any startup that is always the key challenge. So that once we got that, I would think that was the main turning point where we then felt that we could do a lot more with the idea and the business.
Yeah. And around 23 years back, you envisioned that remote process engineering regarding Ingenero. What challenges did you face? Because 23 years back, and at that time, this all these concept and the customers, I think there must be a lot of challenges. How did you bring this overall concept of Ingenero into the reality?
So, like I said, yes, convincing the first few customers was really the biggest challenge. So, I mean, there's no uh, formula or one way to do that. It's just being able to identify the people who are a little more visionary and people who would like innovative ideas. That was kind of, I think, what made the difference. With the first couple of customers we got, getting to the right level of people to who was able to understand the bigger picture and was able to see the value and merit in what we were talking about. And so that's really, I think, where we got started.
How did you foresee the digital twin technology in the chemical process manufacturing?
So through all our deliveries, one of the things we were essentially building digital twins in one way or the other, because to do analysis remotely, trying to help an operating plant, and since you are not there physically, you really had to build a replica of it. We were doing that using, fundamental models as well as some of the data-driven models. So we were always doing that as part of our delivery. Um,
Yeah.
so where it really came out as, it was in 2014 where these concepts were then, really kind of coming out and people were talking about it, even though we were talking about it even in conferences and all that way before that. Um, but that's when we got a mandate to really formally build and deploy digital twins across 45 plants. And that was kind of the first time we really did something more as a digital solution implemented on premises. So that is really where we got the start. And beyond that, then we set up a separate team and got down this whole applied AI path, utilizing various of the evolving technologies in that area.
Yeah. You saw this much before it became the mainstream. How has the digital twin evolved compared to the early expectations?
Earlier on, a lot of the ideas of digital twin had more more focus on the fundamentals. There certainly was a lot of data-driven aspects to it, particularly where things were not very deterministic or known fundamentally. We had to rely on data and build models. So that was part of the, the overall digital twin that we used to work with. But over time, once the AI started evolving and machine learning techniques and so on, a lot more of those developed. And so now a lot more of the focus goes into more of the machine learning type of models, with the fundamental models being the foundation of some sort, providing the basis to help train the models and so on. So the focus has shifted a little bit, and certainly these models can be run a lot more in real time. They tend to be more robust, but you have to be very careful when you train them, and you have to do a lot of testing to make sure for accuracy and reliability. So that's the game we are in, and how have seen the digital twin world changing. And of course, digital twin, depending on the application, the type of digital twin varies. So there are various different kinds of digital twins, depending on what you're going to use it for.
Yeah. Ingenero integrates AI, ML, and first principle modeling. Can you share one success story where this integration led to significant operational improvements?
So this is something we've been, really doing since we started. I mean, we've been using fundamental models. We've been using data-driven models, and using that together with, the actual what is happening in the plant, to provide insights and provide recommendations and prescriptions. Um, so we have uh, several examples of where we've worked with several clients, even in the offline mode, and later more on-prem deployments, where this fundamental technique has helped in it has helped improve yields in in say ethylene plants, by even identifying things like how the tubes are fouling. How do you better run the furnaces, because the furnace is the core in an ethylene plant, or even on the safety aspect, identifying pinhole leaks in furnace tubes way before it really shows symptoms. Um, so there are a lot of such success stories, reliable on the reliability area. We worked with the gasifiers, coal gasifiers, and we were able to very accurately predict reliability issues several days in advance, which really helped the availability of the asset and so on. So several success stories in several different geographies, whether it's the US, Europe, Middle East, Africa.
Yeah. This is powerful. And do you feel AI augments process engineers or replace any certain roles?
Certainly, AI will augment. I mean, we're very strong believers of that. Uh, so, while there is a lot of rhetoric about AI replacing, jobs and so on, our belief and what I very strongly believe is that ultimately, yes, it'll help certain jobs, improve it to a whole different level. There'll be certain jobs that may be a little more mundane, which could be taken care automatically by AI. So at the end of the day, it's all about slimming and shifting. So people who are doing certain kinds of jobs really will have to move and learn new tricks or new ways of working and utilizing the available technology to do a lot more things and do things differently and much more efficiently. So that's the name of the game. It is not that people. It'll just cut jobs. Jobs will be created somewhere else, and so that
Yeah.
is how it's going to move. So historically, we've always seen that. You had maybe 20, 30 years ago, you had people, you had separate people, in stenography and things like that for typewriting and so on. That whole job profile moved as the technology came in. So it's the similar thing here, and that is what AI is going to do as we evolve and progress with it.
Yeah. Right. So, how does the IPOG, Intelligent Process Operation Guidance, transform raw data to actionable insights for your clients?
IPOG was one of it was our early offering where that I had described earlier. It was really the ability to see in a process plant, your unlike in a discrete manufacturing where your product is actually transforming in front of your eyes. Here, everything is within pipes. So the only sense of what is happening is based on indirect measurements like temperatures, pressures, flow rates, compositions. So our whole idea with IPOG was you look at that and make sense out of it using the fundamentals, the models, digital twins, and so on. And that's where you get the insights of what is happening within those pipes, and then you see what changes need to be made to one operate more efficiently, and what changes can be made to prevent maybe a safety issue or a reliability issue. So that's the whole crux of IPOG. Earlier, it was done with people sitting there and doing that, and then sending back that information on a batch mode. But now with the advances in AI and co-enabling technologies, you're able to do that more in real time with the systems and solutions that are deployed, uh, integrated with the operating facility.
Oh, that's a great insights. And how long does it take for an organization to see the ROI from such a systems?
Um, that's an interesting question because that it really depends on what the problem being solved is, and that is a very important thing in deploying any of these systems. Earlier on, when there was a lot of hype and glitz about a lot of these technologies coming out into the market, there was like a gold rush to acquire these technologies and put it in place without really thinking what that technology could be used for. But now I think people are beginning to take a pause and look at really, okay, let's look at the technology, what it's able to deliver, and let's look at what are the business problems we have, and let's try and take the intersection of those two. So that is very important. So people who are beginning to do that and who select the problems to solve wisely, they are able to see the ROI in a much shorter period of time versus people who have just gone blindly and amassed technology. Once the cost is much higher without really a view on the end use, getting the ROI in that case sometimes becomes challenging. But out of sheer luck, there are cases where they may have gotten the ROI. But if you plan to get the ROI by selectively, by choosing your battles and choosing your problems to solve, and then progressing in a very structured way. But you need to have knowledge on what the technology can be used for and how it can be used. Then the ROI could be gotten in less than a year for sure, and sometimes, depending on smaller problems, could be order of months or weeks.
Right. With the team across the globe or clients across the globe, how do you maintain the seamless collaboration and innovation?
So with teams, it's we had structured something where we have a centralized delivery team that caters to clients all across the globe, and we have distributed teams close to the client in different geographies who really face the client and who are able to translate the client's needs back to the centralized team. So there was a division of focus and the expertise residing with a delivery team who would be guided by these distributed teams who are closer to the client and that geography. So it's like a wheel and spoke model that we followed, and that is how we've managed serving global clients at the same time being able to excel in whatever we are building or delivering.
Yeah, you have held significant roles in Cadilla and Kemshire. How this experience shaping your leadership style in Ingenero?
Certainly, each experience has always is always you learn from each experience. The learnings have all been different. At ChemShare, there's a lot of experience um, on product solutions and how to address client needs and so on. Cadilla was a lot more of operations management, innovation. While there was innovation at the ChemShare side as well, here it was more on from a manufacturing standpoint. So both those were very complementary in a lot of ways. To At Enginero, we are dealing with a lot of manufacturers, so we need to understand them well and what their psyche would be and how they think and what really is useful. And from the solutions and product side at the same time, how do you manage? It's a very different group of people. The management styles may be different. So all those were learnings from some of these early experiences, which helped when we set up and started establishing Ingenero.
Yeah. Is there any change in leadership philosophy in this digital era? Because in as doing the leadership in a conventional process manufacturing industry or related industry, and now things are changing into the digital era. Is there any change you have observed?
Certainly, I mean, the way of working, the composition of the workforce, the workforce ideas, ambitions, workforce needs, they all change. One with time, and the other also with the nature of work. So certainly, it's quite different from manufacturing. The type of expertise, the combination of experts from different domains, how to manage that, uh, because at the end of the day, the people, the workforce has to be satisfied with what they're doing. They also need to progress, and so managing that is quite different in a solely manufacturing environment, and in an environment where you're providing innovative solutions. Um, but over time, managing manufacturing setups will also change, because increasingly there's going to be more and more of the software solutions and technologies that are going to drive the manufacturing as well. So I think it's an evolving area on management and how people work.
Yeah. One question related to engineer. Uh, Instead of waiting to be planned to be operational and then finding the bottleneck to achieve the rated capacity to deploy this solution, can we deploy this digital solution to the wholly greenfield projects? So this problem we can avoid or transfer for the latter.
If you really look at it, in our line of work in process manufacturing, um, AI is a very large term, and of course, it was popularized, with the rise of computational power, data storage, the connectivity changed the whole dynamics. But we used to use simulators, which
Yeah.
really got more popularized in the 80s. Certainly in the 70s, everything was done by hand, calculations were done by hand. There was, design, that's a whole area of chemical engineering. But that also transformed in the 80s and 90s, with simulators being used more as the base. In a way, simulators are also part of it, comes under the umbrella of AI. Because earlier on, AI is not a new term. I mean, the whole idea of AI started in the 50s. And in the 80s and 90s, you had something called symbolic AI. And so, in a way, simulators and all fall under that, and that whole thing. Now, um, today, of course, there's a whole area of machine learning, and a lot of strides have been made in that area, in the on the computational side as well as the architectures and so on. Combining these two is what helps. But still, when it comes to the design, uh, greenfield designs, uh, process simulation with more fundamentals really would take more of a front seat. Where the data-driven models would help is if you have similar kind of plants already running, and such models can give some insights to further improve the type of designs. Now, these purely fundamentals based simulation models at the design stage, over a period of time, once you incorporate, once it starts, the plant starts running, you'll also have more of the data-driven models. Over time. There'll be more data collected. Those will start getting utilized. So there is, it merges in some way. And there can be some continuity. It's still very nascent in its the
Yeah.
way it's being applied, but it'll get there. This is, where the way I'm seeing it. It hasn't been perfected, but that's where that's the direction it'll go into, where you have one model that evolves along with the plant life cycle, right from design to operations to right to the end of the plant life.
Right. But based on the standard global data available for any specific plant, can we improve the operational efficiency of the new plants? Is it possible to use the global data as a standard?
Certainly, I mean, that is one of the things that, even though it is not being done to perfection these days, a lot of the, I know process technology companies are looking at doing that. It's the dream. Because once traditional model was your process technology company would provide the process, it would be engineered, plant would start running, and then the operating company really runs the plant. There's a lot of insights that are gained just by running the plant of how the process could be improved uh, based on issues they see or pain points they see when running the plant. That feedback loop to a process technology to improve their design, that is not well established even today. But I think companies are beginning to see that that there's a definite merit to that, and we have tried, we have gotten to some discussions in that area where we can be part of that loop because we are very much on the operations side. We do have some process technology. There's a separate group that does that. So wherever we are going to do that, this is going to be a model we'll follow. But I believe process technology companies will ultimately get to doing this because that's the only way they can keep improving based on what the market needs are and pain points are.
Yeah. Process industries nowadays is evolving rapidly, especially considering the electrolyzers evolution and green chemicals, green chlorine or green ammonia, green hydrogen. At Ingenero, where do you see this biggest opportunity for even innovation in upcoming decade?
So certainly, as we go into the future, being more sustainable is is something that everyone would like to push for. So we actually, having said that, we have a separate group that we set up just doing sustainability work, where we're looking at uh, technologies. We're working with institutes, research bodies, trying to develop technologies, whether it's for carbon capture or more efficient utilization of energy in operating plants, and more sustainable energy sources and so on. So that is one aspect of it. It's a very technology-driven aspect. The other aspect is, I mean, there are a lot of operating plants. And those can be operated a lot better. And that is where, again, the digital solutions and AI comes in because you are able to see what these operating plants are emitting or how they're utilizing their energy and do it much better once you get the insights from include more just in time, if you will, from these digital solutions, you're able to operate it a lot better, more sustainability. So that is another aspect. Third aspect is, of course, the research on the product itself, coming up with much better, more efficient processes, whether it's using more electric driven or even designing products that can be a lot more green and sustainable. So that's a third area. Uh, and given our background, while we are very active in the first two, we are certainly well qualified to play in all of these areas. And we do, having said that, yeah, we have a separate sustainability group. We are certainly looking at that area very seriously.
Right. And that is the transition for next 20-30 years, I think, because a lot of big brands are focusing on that only. What was the most challenging moments in Ingenero journey, and how did you overcome that?
I think the most challenging even today, if you ask me, is the initial breaking into a client. That happened 23, 24 years back. uh, Getting those initial clients going from from scratch, basically. That I think was the most challenging. So getting the cash flows rolling as a result certainly was, even today, I believe, the most challenging. After that, certainly once we started going with different areas of work, we there are times when you have to really keep on top of things and look at how the market is evolving, look at how the world is evolving, whether it's the sustainability drive that came up or the AI movement. Um, Looking at that and also making sure you evolve your models and your deliveries and your way of working aligned with that. So when you already have something going, it's like a ship going in one direction at a fair clip, and then you see this on the horizon, and you want to change the direction of the ship. So that is something, certainly. I mean, it's not easy to do. Conceptually, it sounds very easy, but in a running organization, making some of those changes sometimes become is challenging, and but yeah, we've had to do that and keep doing that. Um, so these are some of the challenging areas. The second one, of course, is something where you it doesn't seem like life and death in the near term. The first one is life and death in the very short term. Second one is much more long term.
Yeah. During these rejections from the clients, how did your business development team react to that, and what kept your PD to motivate for the next deal?
I mean, that's the nature of business development. I mean, whoever does business development uh, is someone who has to be able to accept the wins and losses. And, it's not always every uh, customer you walk into is going to embrace you, and you have to go through a process. Even the customers you win, it's not something that is a slam dunk on day one. So uh, it's the nature of business development, and it takes a certain aptitude and attitude of person to be able to do that. Not everyone can do that. And so being able to identify the right person and work with them, and continue to keep them motivated uh, through close coordination. I think those are some of the ways that you can address that. Oh, there have been mentors through my life, starting from right from my IIT days. My thesis professor there taught me a lot about uh, knowledge for the sake, not just for the sake of knowledge, but apply it to real life industry. He was very good at bringing industry and academia together, and that was, it kind of shaped some of my thinking early. My advisor in my doctorate learned a lot from him, whether it's being very persistent, trying to make sure you are able to persist and solve a problem that you're looking at, not lose heart, uh, and how to go about it, and the people aspect. He was very um, people management sort of person. He was a dean of that whole university. So a lot to learn from there with on that aspect as well. And even in industry, early at ChemShare, certainly I had I had the good fortune of working very closely with the founders there. Learned a lot from there, whether it was on business development or various aspects of the business. And again, at Kedila, I will again worked very closely with the founder of Kedila. And so some of the business acumen, things like that, a lot of learnings there. So these were all mentors who I was fortunate to have, uh, who I learned a lot from in these various aspects of running business and of life in general, basically.
Right. Based on the mentorship, what one message you want to give the young uh, process engineers?
Always have a can-do attitude. Uh, that is most important. Uh, I mean, yes, your technical expertise and all that is a given, but the attitude makes all the difference in being able to ultimately deliver. So always keep that in mind. The persistence. Don't let the first problem that comes your way, you know, kind of drop you. Uh, you'll always have wins and losses. So losses are great learning experiences. You kind of brush your dust and get up and keep going. But the can-do attitude, I would say, is the most important.
Right. In one sentence, how would you describe AI's impact or this digital transformation impact on the future of engineering?
AI is basically transforming the future of engineering by enabling unprecedented levels of efficiency, accuracy, and innovation. It allows us to solve much more complex challenges and in the process create smarter, more sustainable solutions. I mean, so this is kind of, in a sentence, where I see AI going with engineering and in our industry.
Yeah. Regarding our oil and gas or uh, this industrial domains, what do you think? Which engineering discipline will see the biggest AI disruption?
I think AI is going to disrupt almost all facets of engineering, whether it's right from the design stage to efficiency management, maintenance, reliability. So yeah, AI is going to play in the manufacturing space quite a huge role. Likewise, in all the other associated areas, whether it's HR, the consumer interface, the all aspects of business is going to be completely transformed over time with AI. It's just going to the way of working is going to change over time. Um, Definitely, it's a transformative technology.
Right. Uh, we are into the last phase of questionnaire. And now we'll ask only about the Ingenero. I have two, three questions. When people think of Ingenero, what is the one word or phrase you hope that comes to mind? As Ingenero is not completely a process engineering company,
Yeah,
based on the people's perspective. That's why I added this question.
right, right. So, I mean, it would be more, rather than a single word, more of a phrase.
Yeah,
I'd look at it as innovative, technology-driven solutions for the process industry.
right. Looking ahead, what is your vision for Ingenero in next 5 years till 2030?
We would like to become the go-to company for applied AI-driven engineering for the process industry, both services and solutions, and I'd say AI manufacturing vertical. So there are kind of
Right.
two aspects to it.
And uh, uh, for the peoples or for the clients who is watching this video, uh, I want to ask you about the skill set you have in a Mumbai or your abroad offices.
I mean, certainly we have process engineers, which is our core. Uh, and they've specialized in various areas, whether it's for design engineering, safety engineering, operations engineering. So that's one part. On the AI type of applications, we've got a mix of domain experts who are again, either chemical engineers, different kinds of engineers for the domain side. Then you have software engineers, data scientists, IT people for the architecture. So that's kind of the mix of people we have on the delivery side. Um, on the client-facing side, it's mostly people, ideally people who have had some experience living through this. And like I said, it's an aptitude to be able to, deal with the client and understand the needs and address the needs. So again, it's a mix of some of these people, but who have a very uh, specialized aptitude to be able to deal in that areas is what we have in the distributed geographies, like I was talking about.
Yeah. And my last question is related to India or some part of Asia, because uh, we are observing that some of the big names in this industry are still using this traditional approach for designing the process or designing their manufacturing plant. What one message for them to transform into the digital revolution, and which drives more progress in the process industry, innovation or tradition?
Certainly, I mean, I would pick innovation. I mean, tradition is important because that gives the foundation, but it should not drag you down.
Yeah.
Innovation is important to keep going and keep
Yeah.
moving and improving.
So That's the closure from my side. That was truly an insightful conversation with Dr. Pratap Nair, a rare blend of deep technical expertise, a visionary leadership, and real world impact in a chemical processing and analytics with digitalization across multiple geographies. Thank you for tuning in to the engineering talks. Stay with us for more such conversation that preach engineering innovation and entrepreneurship. Until next time, keep learning, stay curious, and keep building. So that's the end from my side, Pratap sir.
Thank you, Omkar.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you.